So it was like they gave rights. You come and join us in the administrative government of India. But was it then successful? People like Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose, who was strongly believer of freedom, he gave a slogan, Sampurna Swaraj, total freedom, total independence. So Subhash Chandra Bose, they pressed for the full independence. Now in such situation of internal debate and dissension, two factors again shaped in Indian politics towards the late 1920s. The first was the effect of worldwide economic depression. Agricultural prices began to fall from 1926 and collapsed after 1930. As the demand for agriculture goods fell, export declined, peasants found it difficult to sell their harvests and pay their revenue. By 1930, the countryside was in turmoil. Now see, we are moving towards independence. Do you know that 1947 we have got independence? We won the independence. Now what to say? We got independence or we won the independence? Because see the consequences. So now 1920 on the international level, the trade, business, agriculture was declining. Farmers were not getting money. Their harvest was not sold out. The crops were not in demand at all. Depression. Mandi. Mahamandi. Against this background, the new Tory government in Britain constituted a stationary commission under Sir John Simon, set up in response to the nationalist movement. Now when this was going on, 1921, 1922 to 1930, at the same time in Britain, the British which were ruling in India, who were they? The British who were ruling in India, their government, they were from Britain and their government was in Britain. From their government, Sir Simon, see this is an important name, always remember. There are questions related with Sir Rowlatt, Sir Simon. In MPSC, UPSC also, at least one question is asked. Now, this Sir Simon was made the statutory commission under Sir John Simon. And why Sir John Simon was selected? To the nationalist movements which were going on in the colonies set up by Britain, to give a proper direction, to depress the the movements in India, Africa, in other countries where British were ruling. So few officers were selected. One of them was Sir John Simon. And the commission was to look into the functioning of the constitutional system in India and suggest changes. And why he was selected? That he'll come and he'll see the functioning and how the British government is working there, Indian Parliament, how it is being run. Who will see? Sir John Simon will see, and if needed, he'll make changes. So that was the work with Sir John Simon. पानी बॉटल भरून तिकडे tell someone to send cold water only. Tell someone to send cold water in the water bottle. Now Sir John Simon was going to see. The problem was that the commission did not have a single Indian member. and this Simon Commission, he was not a one person. John Simon came with a commission, with a group of members, were selected to see the functioning of Indian Parliament, Indian government, Indian administration. But the problem was that there was not a single Indian representative, right? So they were all British. And when Simon Commission arrived in India in 1928, it was greeted with the slogan, "Go back Simon." Simon, chale jao. So Simon, who came in India, so how he was treated in India, how he was welcomed with a slogan, "Simon, go back." With a slogan, "Simon, go back. We don't want you. We don't want your commission. We don't want you to see the functioning and correct it or make changes." So all parties, including the Congress and the Muslim League, now Muslim League was separated. Muhammad Ali, till that time, till by 1922, after this non-corporation movement was taken aback, after that the Muslim League separated in 1922, and these Muslims who helped in the agitation or in the non-corporation movement, they separated themselves in a party, and that was called as Muslim League. Participated in the demonstration against Simon. In an effort to win them over, the Viceroy Lord Irwin announced in October 1929 a vague offer of dominion status. Oh my God. For India in an unspecified future, and round table conference to discuss a future constitution. And see, that agitation against Simon Commission shall be stopped. For that, the governor at that time was Irwin. Irwin was the governor, and he declared to give India a dominion status, nation, dominating to become a independent nation, So, and the members, the leaders of the Indian politics were invited on the round table conference. Round table conference means to come all together. Okay, so that was literally the table was round, and this did not satisfy the Congress leader. Actually, Congress leader participated in it. The radicals within the Congress led by Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose became more assertive. The liberals and the moderates okay, now these are the two trends in Congress. The liberals and the moderates who were proposing a constitutional system within the framework of British dominion gradually lost their influence. In December 1929, under the presidency of gradually lost their influence. In December 1929, under the presidency of Jawaharlal Nehru, the Lahore Congress formalized the demand of Purna Swaraj. See, up to 1929, now Jawaharlal Nehru became the president of National Congress, and they declared for Sampurna Swaraj, that is total independence. Subhash Chandra Bose was strongly believer of total independence, and he was strongly believer of violence also. He was making his own army ready for that. Meanwhile, Congress was doing this. It was declared that 26 January 1930 would be celebrated as the Independence Day, when people were to take a pledge to struggle for complete independence, but the celebration attracted very little attention. So Mahatma Gandhi had to find a way to relate this abstract idea of freedom to more concrete issue of everyday life. Jawaharlal Nehru, when he became president of National Congress, he declared that 1930 will be celebrated, 26 January 1930 will be celebrated as the Independence Day. Why this happens? I tell you. Why Jawaharlal Nehru declared this? It was failure. It was totally failed. Nobody listened to Jawaharlal Nehru at that time. It remained failed. But how it came? History. How it came? See, the contract of independence. You might have heard this word. The contract of independence is very famous. That is American, USA. British were ruling USA, America. ब्रिटिश वेर रूलिंग इन अमेरिका. सो अमेरिका में कौन था? नेटिव इंडियंस थे, रेड इंडियंस. उनके नेटिव कौन थे? रेड इंडियंस. उनको रेड इंडियंस कहते थे. ओके. सो अमेरिका के जो नेटिव पीपल थे, दे वर कॉल्ड एज रेड इंडियंस. नाउ द रेड इंडियंस, टिल द टाइम व्हेन ब्रिटिश सेट अप देयर कॉलोनीज, दे किल्ड देम एंड दे वेंट अवे समवेयर. नो प्रूफ फॉर दैट. So America was a territory run by British government, and people came from other places, other colonies were brought to work there, like people went from India, people went from Africa to work there, to do work, administrative work, all other work, laborers and all were brought. America was far away from England. And those who settled in England, America, those who settled in America and were running the government of British rule, they with the native people mingled in such a way, they became so friendly that one day the leaders and all, those who were fighting for freedom, they knew that these people are very few. जैसे इंडिया में था, ब्रिटिश कितने थे? बहुत थोड़े थे, और इंडियंस बहुत ज़्यादा थे. Right, but those Americans were united and they knew that the British are very few, so they came together. वो एक साथ आए and उन्होंने डिक्लेयर कर दिया इंडिपेंडेंस, वी आर फ्री, हम पे कोई राज करने की कोशिश नहीं करेगा, हम अपनी गवर्नमेंट खुद बनाएंगे, बात ख़त्म. वी आर सेलिब्रेटिंग टुडे इंडिपेंडेंस, हम आज अपना इंडिपेंडेंस डे सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं. एनीबडी हु कम्स इन आवर वे will have to fight us. और उसके साथ वो without any fight they became free. It was a very little movement, it was a very little agitation, it was a very little fight. America has won the freedom because they declared directly. So in that way the thought came into Nehru's mind that now we are, all the people are well known about freedom and all, and the British government also will be threatened by this declaring. So he declared 1930 we will be independent, celebrating Independence Day. But very few people came. People only not responded. People, Indians not responded. Other movements like Muslim League, they did not responded. The moderates not responded. So the liberals not responded from Congress. So it was a failure, and so Mahatma Gandhi took it to make this thing more concrete, more powerful, and to make it more powerful, to bring the people again, because after non-corporation 1922 it was closed. Now up to this was 1930, 9 years. By Mahatma Gandhi also there were no agitations, no movements, no satyagraha for 8 to 9 years. Now again he had to go to the public then. And how he went to the public? The Salt March and the civil disobedient movement. Then in Mahatma Gandhi found in a salt a powerful symbol that could unite the nation. In 1930, on January 31st, 1930, he sent a letter to Arvind Viceroy, the governor Viceroy, stating 11 demands. In that letter he wrote 11 demands. Some of these were general interest, others were specific demands of different classes, from industrialists and peasants, people also. The idea was to make demand wide ranging so that all classes within Indian society could identify with them and everyone could be brought together in a united campaign. अब महात्मा गांधी ने 11 शर्तें रखी. एक लेटर लिखा वाइसराय को, वाइसराय थे तब अरविंद, then he became the governor to वाइसराय. एक लेटर लिखा, उसमें 11 डिमांड्स, छोटे से लेकर बड़े तबके तक, आदमी तक, सोसाइटी, कम्युनिटी, सबको ध्यान में रखकर 11 डिमांड्स रखी और ये डिमांड पूरी करो, अदरवाइज आई विल गो इन सत्याग्रह, नहीं तो मैं सत्याग्रह करूँगा. अब ये 11 अलग अलग डिमांड्स में सभी लोगों की डिमांड्स आ गई. इंडियन ट्रेडर्स की आ गई, मिल वर्कर्स की आ गई, फार्मर्स की आ गई, पीजेंट्स की आ गई. नमक का भाव कम करो तो गृहिणी की आ गई, हाउसवाइफ की भी डिमांड आ गई. सो एवरीबडी शैल फील कि ये तो मेरे लिए कर रहे हैं गांधी जी, है ना. इट इज़ माई एजिटेशन, इट इज़ माई एजेंडा, इट इज़ माई पॉइंट. सो टू मेक द पीपल कम टुगेदर he made 11 demands and he wrote a letter. So the most staring of all was demand to abolish the salt tax. और सबसे ज़्यादा गृहिणी का जो इम्पोर्टेंट ये था कि नमक पे लगा हुआ जो टैक्स है वो कम कर दिया जाए, वो नहीं चाहिए. And so that people came together. So to reduce the salt taxes, that was the most important. Salt was something consumed by rich and the poor alike, same way, and it was one of the most essential item of food. The tax on salt and the government monopoly over its production, Mahatma Gandhi declared, revealed the most oppressive face of British rule. And Mahatma Gandhi said that नमक पे टैक्स लगाना तो बहुत ही क्रुएलिटी है, अन्यायकारक है. महात्मा गांधी को 1930 में कांग्रेस को सपोर्ट कम हो गया. महात्मा गांधी वॉज लाइक ए बैकबोन ऑफ कांग्रेस पार्टी. नेशनलिज्म, सी वी आर गोइंग टू नेशनलिज्म. कांग्रेस बैकबोन ऑफ कांग्रेस पार्टी, कांग्रेस पार्टी डिक्लेयर इंडिपेंडेंस 1926. चलो हम सेलिब्रेट करते हैं, फ्रीडम चाहिए, हम खुद ले लेते हैं फ्रीडम. कौन है ब्रिटिश हमें देने वाले? नोबडी पार्टिसिपेटेड. That means up to 1930 the Congress had lost obedience of civilians. This is the point, civil obedience. लोगों का भरोसा खो चुकी थी. फिर भरोसा किस में था? 1930 में ऐसा क्या हो रहा था? दो चीजें हो रही थी. To one side, people like Bhagat Singh were very much in demand. Very much in demand. To other side, Subhash Chandra Bose, who was with the slogan तुम मुझे खून दो मैं तुम्हें आज़ादी दूंगा, that came in demand, became very popular. Women, they gave their gold chains and all, donated to purchase arms to fight against the British. Means a local Indian, a civilian, a farmer was with the idea of killing the British now. This was the crucial time for the British, that people started making an army now. The kings could not face the British, but now the general man, general person, a civilian participating in army, that was the crucial time. British were facing, to another side they were facing this people also, this agitation and satyagraha तो चलता रहेगा. So this they were facing, and Mahatma Gandhi ने Mahatma Gandhi's letter was in a way an ultimatum. If the demands were not fulfilled by 11th March, the letter stated the Congress would launch a civil disobedience campaign. Irving was unwilling to negotiate, and Irving Viceroy वो negotiate ही नहीं करना चाहते. I don't want to read this letter even. He did not wanted to negotiate. So Mahatma Gandhi started his famous salt march, accompanied by 78 of his trusted volunteers, and the march was over 240 miles from Gandhiji's ashram in Sabarmati to Gujarati coastal town of Dandi. 240 किलोमीटर्स महात्मा गांधी ने मार्च करने का. दांडी एक प्लेस है गुजरात में, सी शोर, वहाँ पे नमक की फैक्ट्रीज थी. तो यहाँ पे से कोई रिस्पॉन्स नहीं मिला महात्मा गांधी को. द वाइसरॉय अरविंद सेड, आई डोंट वांट टू नेगोशिएट, आई डोंट वांट टू टॉक, यू आर नॉट ए सिंगल डिमांड वी हैव वांट टू टेक इनटू डिस्कशन. Mahatma Gandhi started a civil disobedient movement with the Dandi march walking. The volunteer walked for 24 hours, about 10 miles a day. So the volunteers walked for 10 miles a day. In 24 hours they were walking 10 miles. Thousands came to hear Mahatma Gandhi wherever he stopped and told them what he meant by Swaraj and urged them to peacefully defy the British. On 6th of April, he reached Dandi and ceremonially violated the law manufacturing salt, boiling sea water. 6th of April, he reached there. January, he started. After in the month of February, suppose something, he started 240 miles. He reached on 6th of April and took the salt in his hand, declared that we will not pay the taxes on the salt. Finish. Was it the system that the one who was paying the tax in the government department and then going to purchase the salt? Okay, that is a different question. Now we are paying GST on everything. Do we go to pay the GST and then purchase the things? It is already added. It is already added. Then how the taxes were demolished? Because in the 11 demands, there were demands of the companies also, Indian people also, those who were making salt, they will stop giving the taxes. They will stop giving the taxes. That was the demand. And when he picked up the salt, he said, no tax at all for salt now. So, in so many days, wherever he stopped, he used to talk with the people, and this became a mouthpiece of the people that Mahatma Gandhi is now started Dandi march and he is traveling from Sabarmati to Dandi. This marked the beginning of the civil disobedience movement. How was the movement different from the non-corporation movement? 1. People were now asked not only to refuse cooperation with the British as they had done in 1921, but also to break the colonial laws. Now, colonial laws also to break, not to follow the British rules. British law. That also was added in non-corporation movement. Colonial rules means these colonial people, उनके लिए other taxes थे, उनके लिए other schools थे, not to follow that also. Manufactured salt demonstrated in front of the government salt factories. As the movement spread, foreign clothes was boycotted again and liquor shops were picketed. Peasants refused to pay revenue and chaukidari taxes. Now here in non-corporation movement only, civil disobedient, colonial laws, breaking colonial laws was added. By whom? By Mahatma Gandhi. And what Baba Ramchandra was doing then? And what Sitaram Raju was doing then? They were against the Talukdars in 1921 only. Right? So the liquor shops were burnt. But in non-corporation movement of Mahatma Gandhi, same way Baba Ramchandra and Sitaram Raju's movement, the Talukdar houses were burnt. Now Mahatma Gandhi brought the same thing. Why they made the movement? Not to pay the taxes. Taxes were imposed by the Talukdars, interest and Sahukars and Talukdars. British were earning the taxes from these sources only. Okay. Every British officer was not going house to house to collect the taxes. The Talukdars, Sahukars, government, they were collecting the taxes. Now the same point is added in Mahatma Gandhi with non-violence. With non-violence. So what was done in this non-cooperation, how it was separate from non-cooperation movement? In non-cooperation movement, it was the only criteria. Non-cooperation movement से ये movement क्यों separate हुई? Civil disobedience. Non-cooperation movement was not to help the government to run the government. That was non-cooperation movement. And civil disobedience, not to help the government to run the government as well as not to follow the government rules, not to pay the taxes to talukdars and chowkidari taxes, no taxes at all. In many places, forest people violated forest laws, going into reserved forest to collect the wood and graze cattle. People were not allowed to go in the forest. Now they violated that law also. They started going into the forest. Worried by the development, the colonial government began arresting the Congress leaders one by one. This led the violent clashes in many places when Abdul Ghaffar Khan, a very important name, came in the scene now. When Abdul Ghaffar Khan, a devout disciple of Mahatma Gandhi, was arrested in April 1930. Abdul Ghaffar Khan was a follower of Mahatma Gandhi. He was also arrested. Angry crowds demonstrated in the street and Peshawar, facing armored cars and police firing. Many were killed. A month later, when Mahatma Gandhi himself was arrested, industrial workers in Solapur attacked police posts, municipal buildings, law courts and railway stations, all structures that symbolizes British rules. Everything now started. Mahatma Gandhi himself was arrested and people started attacking these places, protesting these places. Okay. Peaceful satyagrahis were attacked, women and children were beaten, and about 1 lakh people were arrested. Those at that time, Mahatma Gandhi, in this movement, this movement is very important for one more thing. ये जो civil disobedience, when 1930 Mahatma Gandhi was arrested, protesting against that, 1 lakh people at that time, 1 lakh people were arrested, and these people were given the letter of freedom fighter. ताम्रपत्र उनको दिया जाता है, दिया गया था, जो महात्मा गांधी के जेल में जाने के लिए प्रोटेस्ट किए थे. Thousands of people went and protested because Mahatma Gandhi was arrested 1930. So 1 lakh people were arrested. In such situation, Mahatma Gandhi once again decided to call off the movement and enter into a pact with Irvin on 5th March 1931. अभी फिर से एक बार ये जैसे जैसे ये हुआ, फिर से एक बार महात्मा गांधी को लगा कि ये तो नॉन वायलेंस से वायलेंस की ओर चले गए. नॉन वायलेंस से वायलेंस की ओर चले गए. फिर से एक बार महात्मा गांधी ने ये मूवमेंट भी वापस ले लिया, स्टॉप्ड. बाय दिस गांधी आयरविन पैक्ट, अब ये गांधी आयरविन पैक्ट के नाम से बहुत फेमस है. 5 मार्च 1931 को वाइस राय आरविन एंड महात्मा गांधी मेड ए डील, एक पैक्ट हुआ. और उसका क्या था? कंसिस्टिंग, सी गांधी जी कंसेंटेड टू पार्टिसिपेट इन राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस. इस पैक्ट में क्या डिसीजन हुआ? 11 डिमांड्स ही हैड, स्टार्टेड द एजिटेशन, एंड डिसीजन क्या हुआ? दैट वो जो राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस है उसमें महात्मा गांधी भी हिस्सा लेंगे. एंड द कांग्रेस हैड बॉयकॉटेड द फर्स्ट राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस, पहले उन्होंने बॉयकॉट कर दिया था. नाउ इन लंदन, कहाँ पे होने वाली थी? ब्रिटेन में. सो महात्मा गांधी वेंट टू ब्रिटेन टू पार्टिसिपेट इन द राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस 1931. The government agreed to release the political prisoners जो पॉलिटिकल प्रिजनर मतलब जिनको अरेस्ट किया था ये 1 लाख इनको छोड़ देंगे, ये दूसरा डिसीजन हुआ. इन December 1931 गांधी जी वेंट टू लंडन एंड फॉर द कॉन्फ्रेंस बट निगोशिएशंस ब्रोक डाउन एंड ही रिटर्न डिसअपॉइंटेड. गांधी पैक्ट हुआ राउंड टेबल डिस्कशन के लिए और उसमें भी क्या हुआ, डिसअपॉइंटेड. इतनी मूवमेंट करने के बाद ना तो वो 11 डिमांड्स पूरी हुई ना ये पूरा हुआ. This was the fight against the British. So Gandhiji came disappointed. Back in India, he discovered that the government had begun a new cycle of repression. Ghaffar Khan and Jawaharlal Nehru were both in jail, and the Congress had been declared illegal, and series of measurements had been imposed to prevent meetings, demonstrations and boycotts. With great apprehensions, Mahatma Gandhi relaunched the civil disobedience movement. For over a year the movement continued, but by 1934 it lost its momentum. ये तो होना था, ये तो होना था. क्या हुआ मतलब, you fight with full flesh and somebody stops you, even if the leader itself, right? I give you permission, you are my student all, I give you permission, chalo we'll play kabaddi, खेलना स्टार्ट कर देते हैं, and I'll just stop you, you will be disappointed. Then again I give you permission, चलो कबड्डी खेलते हैं, and I'll stop you, you will be disappointed again. And third time I gave you permission and you have that mind again, he will stop any time. So half of the people will sit only, half of the people will only play, half of the student will only play, remaining will only sit and watch. The principal whenever he wants he will stop, so better will rest. So that mentality was created in the movement. And 1931-32 when he came back from round table conference and he started again the movement, this movement was failed, people did not participate. थोड़ी थोड़ी जगह पे लोगों ने पार्टिसिपेट किया, सत्याग्रह किया, पर बाकी जगह पे वो टोटली लॉस्ट हो गया, क्योंकि तब तक फुल फ्लैश में थे सुभाष चंद्र बोस, भगत सिंह, राजगुरु, सुखदेव जैसे फ्रीडम फाइटर. They were the strong believer that the British will not listen our satyagrahi slogans. We need to break their ears, then they'll start hearing us in a better way. That was the point. Now the next part is point is how participants saw the movement. This is very interesting. Now we are watching that the momentum of the movement was lost and how now it was going. Okay, just a minute. So how the participants, now those civilians and people, Indians were participating in it. Mahatma Gandhi gave a call, people were participating. Now how the participant in the movement saw means from the starting it is giving. Okay, now again we are starting from the start of the point, that how people started looking at the movement at first and in the end, that is being described over here. Okay, let us see. Let us now look at the different social groups and that participated in the civil disobedience movement. Why did they join the movement? What